it was the weirdest car deal I've ever done.
All things hip.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's a very special day as usual in the kingdom of Boca Raton, but today we're going to head down to Miami and go check out our guy Greg. You might know him better by the name Garage90. We're not the only guys that's collecting out there, so let's go check out our guy Greg and check out the Benzes he got and also some of the haram things he got. Let's go.
How's it going, man? Good to see you. You been alright? Good, do well. We love what you're doing, dude. See the moves you're making.
When I first got to Florida and we started collecting, me and Daniel, one of the first guys that reached out to us and came seeing us was Greg. First he came solo, and then he came also again with some big guy from Russia, a YouTuber, to show the collection, and we got a lot of notoriety in Russia because of that. So Greg's always showing love. So let's check out Garage90 and all the cool stuff he got going on. Last time we were here, guys, he had one side all Mercedes, one side all BMW, and now we see he came to his senses. Yeah. We put it all together. But very, very beautiful spot. Honestly, congratulations once again on everything you've done.
Thanks. So it's a short wheelbase.
Right.
The Pullman is longer.
Wow. So there's a longer version of this in case you needed a longer version. What do you call it, Greg?
600.
There you go.
W100.
W100.
So this is the original 600, the original OG 600. This thing is crazy. So it has the hydraulic windows and everything.
It does. And then it was built to be a better car than a Rolls Royce and a Bentley.
Wow.
And it did, and it was.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why it has such a status that all the dictators and all the diplomats, all the kings had it. I bought it in California.
Right, because you didn't have it last time we were here.
No.
Nice example.
And it's fully restored, so I actually picked it up out of the restoration shop. I bought it from a dealer, but it was in the restoration shop for 6 months.
Wow.
With $46,000 worth of receipts. I have to bring it in the shop, and I'm sure it's something minor. And then once it's done, my plan is to drive, literally use it, because it needs to
Need to use it or else it's
And the neighborhood I live in, you know, is full of Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Lamborghinis. I think, you know, if you drive one of those cars, it's one thing, but I think this is the coolest. It's going to be the coolest car in the area where I live.
I agree.
We're going to move on to this one right here. Tell us about this car. I know it's special. I feel the presence coming off of the car, so tell us about it.
All right, this is a W109.
Yes.
1971.
Okay.
It was owned by so-called Playboy. That's how they call the guy. Somebody tried to look him up. They couldn't find him, but they found a large company in Germany with the same last name, roots from the same last name. Right. So there's a story that maybe he or his parents owned that company.
Right.
But regardless, so there's a guy in the 70s who bought this car, wanted to participate in a race, decided to take his W109 to AMG to get fully converted up to AMG spec, which he did. And in 1984, they basically modified from the interior to the engine to the bumpers. See, the front bumpers are integrated.
Wow, yeah.
The rear bumpers are integrated as well. The craziest thing that, as you probably know, most of the AMG cars, especially from 70s and 80s, they come undocumented.
Yeah.
This car is fully documented. I have AMG paperwork in German that describes, you know, engine out. You know, they basically modified the whole car. So in 1984, the car left AMG factory, and the guy used it for another year, sold it. The person that bought it was a German Mercedes-Benz master certified mechanic and was sent to the United States, decided to stay here, bought this car in the 80s from that Playboy guy, brought it here to the States and had it up until I bought it in, you know, whenever, 2, 3, 4 years ago. But this been touched by AMG. So the paperwork says that they took the engine out and modified, but they don't have whether it was enlarged to 6.7 or 6.8, because that's what they did for the Red Pig.
Yeah, yeah. It's an amazing find. It's a really, really great car.
I love it. So one of the cars that everyone asks about a lot on the channel is W202s. We don't really talk about them much on the channel. We got a couple in the collection, but this one right here is very, very special. Let's talk about it. Greg, tell us about this prototype. Or it's not a prototype.
Yeah, well, this is a pace car. This is a pace car that was used at the FedEx race, I guess. So the Mercedes ordered 2 cars to be built specifically for that race by AMG. The other one was the opposite, which was the orange nose all the way to the back with a, ending with a purple color.
And even the wheels, guys, even the wheels.
Right. The orange one had a roll cage in it, and it was actually used as a pace car for the race.
Yes.
This one drove the VIP clients.
Okay.
So
cool.
What's interesting is it was disassembled to be painted. As you can see, these are not stickers. Okay. Because a lot of people think this is a sticker.
Wow.
So this is all paint.
Wow.
The owner of Porsche dealership, Bremen.
Okay.
Big name.
Yeah.
So he has a collection, he has a museum. So he ended up getting this car somehow, through his connections. Yeah. He saved it. Later on, he gave it to someone, and people needed money, sold it to a broker. And the broker contacted me. I've bought cars from him before.
We've had like cars that we've had in shipping get destroyed, like hanging from the containers or like dropping them on other cars. But we know this one was a heartbreak because it happened right in front of you.
It's an AMG build, purchased the car in Germany, got the car, did not put it in service right away, and was driving the car. I drove the car out of the garage to take some pictures, and as I was backing into the garage to put it literally in this spot or that spot, I lost brakes, and the car drove into the, I had a Lotus and a BMW parked in here, so I hit the Lotus, and Lotus moved and hit the BMW. My thought was just stop the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was slow enough for me to jump out of the car.
Dolce Gabbana,
which is the stupidest thing. People wrote comments and said, "You're retarded." I agree, but I was happy that it happened here rather than on the highway, because I literally could have killed someone or get myself killed.
It's the right mentality to have.
Exactly. So the cars, I fixed the car, I fixed the interior, I ordered stuff from Germany, I ordered stuff from California.
Great job. Yeah, this is the pains that comes with collecting, guys. Things will go wrong, it is what it is.
You gotta jump out cars, stopping them with your body.
Typical fenders, these were custom made for this car. There's not many of them made. They rolled the fenders out. We have a Gemballa that's similar.
But it's a Gemballa.
It's not like this AMG wide body. See this? This is the usual wide body. This is the one they made for
this one. That's a pair.
Guys, we have a lot of Koenig Specials in our collection, especially the SEC, but we do not have one of these right here. This is a Koenig Special with the Koenig Special Turbo on it. May I? Look at that.
Bi-Turbo?
It is Bi-Turbo, and it moves. I mean, this car drives. This one does drive.
I mean, listen, these motors on their own, 5.6, are monsters. Any type of tuning, monsters. You put a turbo on it, it's over.
I've driven this car a lot. It is super reliable. Goes to show you about their modifications.
Have you seen any other examples with this engine work? Because we haven't.
No, I have not. This car was owned by some type of a corporate guy that worked for the Mercedes. This car traveled with him.
Wow.
Every time he'd get a job for the Mercedes in a different country, he would take the car with him. Of course. So he put it up for sale this time because he didn't want to take it. He was transferred out to Argentina, I think he said. And he had it for sale for an astronomical price.
$1 million.
So I
don't want to sell it price, yeah.
exactly. So I gave him an offer. He declined it. So a few months later, he contacted me and said, okay, I'm leaving. I'm done. Like, I have to go. And we figured out the price. And he wanted me to literally, he said, I'm leaving tomorrow. Transfer me the money. I had the guy, I don't know if you ever done that or not. I had the guy go outside with the newspaper,
Yeah, to show the date.
with today's date.
Oh, we've done that. Yeah, we've done that before.
And he said, I'm leaving. I got the money. Send somebody else will give him the car.
Oh my God.
So it was like 2-3 days later, I ordered the transportation company to go and get the car, thinking they might call me in a day or two and say, listen, where do you send us? There's nobody. The phone number you gave us, nobody answers. Man, a week later, I get the car in my driveway. I'm like, damn, this is...
Worked out well that
Yeah,
time.
I'm like, wow. Yeah, so...
Congratulations.
Yeah,
man.
thanks.
Great buy, great buy.
It's a great buy.
And most of these cars, like something this rare, usually comes like that. It's not on the market. It's some guy has it.
Some
Doesn't
guy has
sell
it,
it.
let it
Sure.
go.
And the guy that has the other one out there with the turbo, we're looking for you.
Sure.
Right next to it, another Koenig. It's not a Mercedes, but it's still something very special. It's still something very German. Porsche right here. You want to talk about this real quick?
Yeah, they built 7 of them. It has the supercharger, Albrecht's supercharger, which Koenig used as a third-party company.
We love Koenig. Anything
yeah.
Koenig, we still support.
Yeah.
The back wing is insane. Look at that.
Yeah, it is.
Really glad you got it. I'm really glad that it went to a collection and one in the US, and also not just to go out there and be flipped 4 or 5 times over the next year, because
Exactly.
that's what happens a lot of times when the market starts going. A great example gets so over commercialized, but this is really the right place. It has a great home here, so congratulations, man.
Right. The car is well documented.
Yeah.
And well talked about. I mean, there's some videos, not with the car, but about the car.
Yeah.
But I do have a complete history firsthand from the owner
Excellent.
that has a lot more to
There's
the
more
story.
color to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I actually have it documented, and I'm going to make a movie about the car
You have
in
to.
English.
You have to.
Right? I owe it to the world.
The world, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
So
That's how we feel about all the cars.
right. So I actually have everything recorded, and I'm gonna make a movie about it.
You have to, please.
We don't want to talk too much about it now because I know we want to save it for the people.
Sure.
But just know, guys, it stayed in America with a very special person, and we couldn't be happier that it went to our friend here and not some guy that's trying to flip the car. You know.
It was in Kosovo. They couldn't get it through the border. I paid for the car. Then they got back to me, said that the bank charged them more for the fee.
Interest or the currency exchange and all that shit.
It was the weirdest car deal I've ever done. I talked to somebody else who translated for the owner of the car. The guy who translated didn't speak English either, so I don't. But we worked on it for 2-3 months. You know how people laugh at us.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. They don't see a big vision.
Right.
You know, somebody made $5,000 off of you because they saw the opportunity,
Yeah.
and they laughing. But you know, in reality, exactly. So
it saved me in 2 hours of my day. It was worth it. Leave me alone, you know.
Listen, they don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand the value. So I paid for the car. I called the dealership, Mercedes dealership. It's some, I don't even know what part of the country. I made arrangements for them to bring the car to the dealership to be dropped off so I can actually arrange transportation. They tried to bring the car to the dealership changed its mind. I don't know, but it's all political. They said that the plates were not, so they're different. I don't even know. So anyway, I made a deal. They couldn't drop it off, so the guys drove it and left it in some parking lot. In the winter time, I had to contact somebody in Europe who had the license with the truck to go through a certain area.
Kosovo, Jesus.
Some place, God knows where, but the car was under the snow, so these rust spots,
Oh my
basically
God.
it sat under the snow. So they found the car, they got the car, then they brought it, and then there was problem in Germany.
Interior looks great.
I did it. I've redone the interior. It needs repaint.
These Schultz Cabrios are great, man. I love them.
And the roof works, it's automatic.
Wow.
That's
So
nice.
the mechanism, everything, I fixed it.
So we have two examples.
Yeah, one arriving actually
One
tomorrow.
arriving tomorrow. Yeah, the one is in white. The other one we have is in black. Beautiful car.
And they drive, you know, it has a Cosworth engine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
yeah.
all of them had it, but it drives.
Picking up on 90s, I see the Bruno Sacco ones right here.
Yes.
Crazy. Bruno Sacco is
Avant-garde
the
edition.
designer who designed most of these 90s and 80s Benzes, the great ones at least. And this was like a Bruno Sacco edition. I don't know what it was.
Well, so in 1992, at the end of the production run for the W201 chassis, Mercedes-Benz decided to have limited run of 190s in different color, interior and exterior, that were not offered, you know, before. So this is called Avant-Garde Collection. If you can see, the interior on every car is different. And one of these 4 cars was actually owned by Bruno Sacco, which is the head designer for the Mercedes for almost, what, 3 decades? I have a picture in front of his residence with this car, in the back of this car, showing the car and a license plate, and him standing there.
That's amazing.
And then I have a title that has that license plate number written on the title. You know,
Greg is a good friend of ours, and sometimes we end up buying cars around the same time. So we were actually negotiating on this package as well. And Greg, not knowing, because we all kind of talk to the same people, but in different ways.
And we don't talk to each
We
other.
don't talk to each other about it because we're just friends. We just don't talk this kind of stuff about what transactions we're doing. And we found out it got sold while we're making an offer. Said, oh man, that sucks. And then next thing we hear, it's getting loaded on a ship headed to Florida. And so we was like, okay, we think we know where it's going. So we're super happy Greg got it. Just the nature of it. It's all fun. It's all for the cause. And we're happy that when we get to see these cars here in Florida, it's a real special thing. And Greg's one of the most really respectable guy. First off, great person and incredible collector, and really cares about these vehicles so much. So glad we have a relationship.
Top G.
Top G.
that's right. G90.
Guys, one more special story about this car right here. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
And for the record, I have more special stories.
Of course.
But, you know, we can't.
Greg,
we can't
You
can't
are a
give it all
special.
one
You
shot.
are a special story.
We
You are a
can't,
special
we
story.
can't just give it all at once. So we're gonna do one more. I was contacted by somebody who wanted me to consult them on the price of the vehicle, and I get contacted, quite frequently, and most of the time, as you mentioned one time in your story, don't call me with a W126 SEL with 60,000 miles on it or something. You know what I mean? So
stuff.
right. Anyway, so this guy says, hey, I have these rare cars with low miles. I said, okay, what do you have? Then he disappears, and he comes back and says, I have these 2 W140s. One has 278 miles on it. The other one has 1,400 miles on it. And he says, I've been trying to sell them for 300,000 as a pair, right? And he says, I've been trying to do
What
it.
he's trying is he has to really try for that.
For the last couple of years, I've been trying to sell them. What do you think the cars are worth? 278 mile car, that's a whole different ball game. Let me think about it for a day or two. So I kind of think about it. He didn't offer to sell them to me, and I wasn't even gonna buy them. I'm not buying any more cars, right?
Yeah.
So I look at things, and then I give him the price, and then I give him in-depth explanation how I came up with that price. And he says, okay, thank you for the information. I kind of, I've been following you, and I know you kind of understand this stuff, you're in it. And then a couple of days later, I'm thinking about these 2 cars, and I'm thinking, why don't I buy them? Right? So I contact the guy back, and I tell him, hey, I gave you the number. If you're willing to let go these 2 cars for that number, I'm a player. Just went silent. I contact them back, and I say, hey, I'm going to give you $25,000 more let's make it work. Let's make the deal. He said, okay. So I ended up buying these two cars. But here's the story. This car with 278 miles, it's a 1992 model. It was delivered to the dealership. The sales manager parked the car in front of the building. Okay, they closed the dealership. They all went home. He came back the next day and the car was gone.
Dude, where's my car?
It was stolen. So they reported it stolen. You know, whatever happened, insurance paid the dealership. But this car was gone. 10, 13 years later, the car reappeared in someone's driveway. Called the cops, said, hey, we have a car in our driveway. Been sitting here, somebody dropped it off. Please come and figure this thing out. The cops came, ran the VIN, said, hey, this car's been stolen 10, 13, whatever years ago. Seized the car. Car went back to the insurance company, got sold at the auction. As a recovered, you know, whatever specialty auction. The dealer bought the car, not a Mercedes dealer, obviously, but a dealer, and knew what he had, and then sold the car to the guy I bought it from, who also kept it for almost 10 years.
Is that 500?
It's a 400 SE. Yeah. So I only have 600s.
Yes, I know.
And an AMGs, but this is like I have
Very special.
Very special. It has floor mats. Everything is sealed. I mean, if you look at the thing, it's untouched. It's literally a brand new car.
Wow.
Look at that tag. It is 1991 on it or something.
Yeah.
Where is it? I can't see it.
1991.
Yeah.
Crazy. Tag is even crisp.
All the
Whoever
connections.
stole this car took very good care of it for about 13 years.
It was definitely kept air conditioned wherever it was for those 10 years.
It wasn't.
No, just said they say where it was tucked.
No, nobody knew.
I got it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do all the Clarion stereo.
Oh, the stack?
I'm gonna do white interior with red piping.
Way to do it nice.
Red piping, and I'm gonna do red carpets.
They'll do a perfect job there. The most important thing about this, all the fins are intact in the front.
Sure.
They're not.
Brother, thanks for everything, man.
Great, thanks so much. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Let's get together soon, all right?
Very beautiful.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Guys,
Congratulations.
follow Garage90 on Instagram. Here's their right here, and subscribe to their YouTube.
Garage
Peace.
90X.
Garage90X. Don't forget the X.
X marks the spot.